These stories so far are mild compared to my dick, balls, and gang rape and beheading stories.
Yes, and I've got all that written down. So all that written down to address. So like you mentioned it and we moved past it real quickly, but I was curious. So you said, and it was on one of your videos, what do you do if some powerful guy, the Hitler, portrait guy, green lights you to get your shit pushed in and beat the fuck up? If that gets greenlit, is there any way to go to that guy and be like, hey, I'm so sorry, let me give you some Snickers? Or is it like, no, once that's okayed, you're fucked. He can't go back on it or he'll look weak or complacent. Like, how's that pan out?
Prison rape is so common, there's a rape class now that you have to attend under PREA, Prison Rape Elimination Act.
Yep.
It's mandatory.
A rape class. Did you learn anything? Are you better at raping now than before?
Prisoners are joking on the way to the rape class.
I went to the rape class myself. It's
So you watch a video, and there's some guys in the day room, some predators. The young prisoners coming in are hungry. If they take food, they're in debt. And once they got you in debt, they got you. They say, look, you got to pay this debt or else we're going to kill you. Well, I got no money. Well, you're going to go in that cell over there, do whatever he says, and that will pay your debt off. And if you are weak-minded enough to do that, there's no turning back. That's called getting turned out, becoming a prison punk. They rent you out as a prison prostitute, and you're ruined. At the lowest level in the prison is punks, snitches, and chomos. So the conclusion of the rape class was to stop rape, you have to report it. If you report anything, you're a snitch. So after we went to the rape class, a young mentally ill prisoner was gang raped, and nobody reported a single thing.
Oh no! Yeah. Like he gets raped in the rape class
after the class,
right after, yeah.
Oh, so that was just like an FU to the guards. Now the story of Zena, who was a transgender prisoner, 6.5 foot, charismatic transgender prisoner. She seemed happy living with her boyfriend when I met her in prison. He was protecting her. But decades before, when she first came in, she was big, weightlifting, clicked up with the Aryan Brotherhood gang as a debt collector. It's blood in, blood out. These gangs use people up and they brutalize them. So I asked Zena what happened. She said the first time was a gang rape. They beat me until I was unconscious, raped me while I was unconscious, and shoved things inside my body. I said, well, what did they shove inside your body? A broomstick. I said, well, how did you know they were raping you if you were unconscious? She said, when I went to the toilet afterwards, I could tell by what came out. I said, well, what did you do after being raped? I sat in my cell waiting for the scars to go. I got moved to another yard, but the same thing happened. They beat me up, raped me, used me as a sex toy, a prostitute, a punk. There's no recourse, no one to talk to. You can't go to the guards. They'll throw you in a dungeon for months or years and say it's for your own protection. You can do absolutely nothing other than kill the perpetrators. The victim is labeled a rat, a punk, and considered less than human. I said, did you think about killing the people who did this? Yes, I did. I also thought about killing myself, and I still do sometimes. And then Zena started crying. She couldn't answer any more questions. But she came back because we were writing a blog to raise awareness of prison rape. And when she came back, I said, does this mostly happen to youngsters? Yes, it does. But it can happen to anyone. Big, bad dudes, skinny, ugly. People who aren't street smart, who don't understand the mentality of ghetto life, they get picked on the most. I said, well, how did you stop it? I took the abuse for as long as I could and I started fighting. I won most of the fights. When I stood up and told them I didn't care about living or dying, it stopped. You've got to be ruthless. Now, that is understatement. Zena hadn't told me the truth as to how she stopped this gang raping business because she didn't want to risk getting in trouble for what she'd done. Zena was studying anatomy, and the next 2 times the gang members came to rape Zena. The first member of the gang to put his hand on Zena plucked his eyeball out. So it was,
holy shit!
So it was dangling from the optic nerve, and that's what I thought when I first heard that story. Holy shit! Is that even possible? So I had a workout partner called Iron Man in prison, and he told me to join a dojo. He told me to join a dojo when I got out. So I did karate for almost 10 years, and they teach us in karate. It's called bird beak strike. You just go bam into the eyeball like that, and it comes out on the optic nerve. Now, Xena did that twice, 2 separate occasions.
That's what I'm laughing at, by the way.
They came back to rape her again, and she did it again. So
what's so funny is that she plucked an eye out, and they still came back.
Yeah. So they classified her as extremely dangerous because that eyeball, when you put it back in, it just doesn't go back in snugly and behave normally. The fluid coating the brain can leak through the socket, and you can die. You can be blinded. You know, it can really mess your visual apparatus up. Let's
confused. So Xena was a woman, and men were raping her. Why were they together? I missed something.
She's
okay. So Xena was a trans prisoner, 6.5 foot.
Oh.
When she first came in, decades before she'd met me, she was big and weightlifting, and she was a debt collector for the Aryan Brotherhood. Now, when I met her, she was tall, skinny. She was making melting plastic and making sex toys. She had her own beaded G-string. And
she's cool.
What she did was they tried to get estrogen smuggled in, and they tried to stop the other chemical. So Xena wakes up one morning, grabs a felt tip pen, draws lines on her scrotum, drinks a cup of coffee, and without any painkiller at all, she's got the razor blade and she cuts the scrotum open. Now, the testicles are on branches called the vas deferens. So she goes into one side of the scrotum, cuts through the spermatic cord and the gristle, and she manages to cut one side off. Now, the other side must have known what was about to happen because it hid, it retracted. So now she's got her hand in her scrotum, up in her gut, searching for this other testicle.
This is horrible.
I love this.
This red hot pain is hitting her now from cutting the first one off. Where she's got it tied off to stop the blood comes undone, and the blood starts spraying across the cell. She's now bleeding to death and losing consciousness, but she believes she's got to get this other one off. It's a one-shot deal. She said she could feel squishy things like organs while she's scrambling around to find this thing. But in the end, she didn't find it. And the prison was informed. Somebody saw this, and they managed to get a helicopter to the prison just in time to get her to hospital to save her life. Now, Xena was put on suicide watch for a year. And when she got off suicide watch, she cut the other testicle off.
Jesus Christ. So just when that testicle thought it was safe to slink back down into the sack, slice!
This is the most hardcore individual I've ever heard of. It's so comical to me that she plucked out a rapist's eyeball with her bare hand. And then the next week or month or whatever, some time period passed, and that same group of rapists got together and said, you know what we should do? We should go rape the eyeball plucking chick. We should go rape. Wait. Why are they calling her the eyeball? Well, they point at Dan, and he's got a fucking eye patch on. He's like, I don't know, guys. That seems like a good idea. I'm not going in first. I'll say that for damn
sure.
Once.
Shame on you.
The second guy is like, oh, God, I deserve this. I knew what was coming. I saw her sharpening her nails. I saw her practice on round body parts with her own nuts.
Let me tell you what happened next then. So, all right. So, rape attempt 1, eyeball comes out. Rape attempt 2, eyeball comes out.
Is she big and strong during the eye plucking, or is she the later?
Yeah, she was collecting debts for the Aryan Brotherhood.
At that
6.5
point,
foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big.
So eyeball comes out 2 separate occasions. Eyeball comes out. They classify Xena as extremely dangerous, and they move on to some of her friends. Now, one friend is gang raped. They shove a light bulb in his backside, and they make bets on who could smash it first. And that prisoner committed suicide afterwards. Another one is gang raped. They get a shovel from the work crew. They hold him down, cut his head off. And when his head is finally off, they put it on display in a part of the prison to show the gangs that they're the most violent and ruthless out of all the gangs.
And which gang did that one?
Aryan Brotherhood.
Okay. Jesus.
Right?
That is really intense.